Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Mahatma Sambribhaya Acharya Stakari Smana Dham Saraswati Goswami Bhagavad Jaya Nanda Gauri Vaishnava Ki Jaya Ramacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jaya Name Sutta Ho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivacharya Gaur Bhakti Jaya Sri Radha Krishna Bhogavnath Sankand Radha Kunda Giri Ki Jaya Vrindavan Dham Ki Jaya Navadip Dham Ki Jaya Ganga Maya Ki Jaya Jamuna Maya Ki Jaya Guru Bhaka Dham Ki Jaya Swami Bhaktivinoda Ki Jaya All glories to Jesus. All glories to Jesus. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev, all glories to Samud Vaishnavi devotees, and all glories to our revered speaker, His Grace, Jiva TATTVA Prabhu. Devotees, we thank you all for being here. Of course, there isn't many devotees here at the moment, but more devotees will be joining shortly. But those who are here and those who will be coming in today, we are blessed. We have His Grace, Jiva TATTVA Prabhu, my very dear good friend, who will be speaking to us today. We will tell you a little bit more about Prabhuji, probably at the end of the discourse. But for now, Prabhuji will be speaking to us from the US, and we encourage devotees to be quite attentive because we're going to relish Krishna Katha, if only we wish to relish. It is said that one may force the horse to the riverside, but you may not be able to force the horse to drink. But we know devotees love to drink Krishna Katha through their ears. That's why we are here every single day, Monday through Friday. So without further ado, Prabhuji, Thank you so much for being here. You are muted. You may unmute. Hare Krishna. And then we'll put the verse on the screen and you take it over from here, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Sajay Prabhuji. Thank you, dear devotees,
Hare Krishna.
giving me this opportunity to be here today. Can you hear me fine?
Very clear, yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So let's start with the invocation prayers as we visit this verse and immerse ourselves in Bhagavatamrita. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiriyet Shravtam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shamana Kirtanaha Hridayantasto Bhadrani Vidunoti Suhasatam Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Hare Krishna. So this verse and this particular chapter is in crossroads across multiple Puranas as well as multiple Samhitas. So we'll be visiting those as well. So let's start with Srimad Bhagavatam, the recitation of the verse. Canto 2, chapter 9, verse 13. Yavat sakha sakhayuriveshate kritaha praja visarge vibhajami bhojanam aviklavaste parikarmani sthito mame samunnadha madojamaniнаha. And the same verse can also be sung on a different meter. Yava sakha sakyuriveshate kritaha praja visarge vibhajami bhojanam aviklavaste parikarmani sthito mame samundratha madojamaniнаha. So these verses are supposed to be sung. It's so melodious when we sing it. Actually, they just come to our heart. Let's do the synonyms word for word. Yavat, as it is. Sakha, friend. Sakyuhu, unto the friend. Iva, like that. Isha, O Lord. Te, you. Tritaha, have accepted. Praja, the living entities. Visarge, in the matter of creation. Vibhajami, as I shall do it differently. Bhoho, O my Lord. Janam, those who are born. Aviklavaha, without being perturbed. Te, your. Parikarmani, in the matter of service. Sthitaha, thus situated. Ma, may it never be. May, unto me. Samundadha, resulting arise. Madaha, madness. Aja, O unborn one. Maninaha, thus being thought of. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. O my Lord, the unborn one, you have shaken hands with me just as a friend does with a friend, as if equal in position. I shall be engaged in the creation of different types of living entities, and I shall be occupied in your service. I shall have no perturbation, but I pray that all this may not give rise to pride, as if I were the Supreme. Hare Krishna. Let's do Guru Pranati to get the blessings from Parampara. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshtarine Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatadaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada is revealing Lord Brahma is definitely situated in the humor of friendship with the Lord. Every living being is eternally related with the personality of Godhead in one of 5 different transcendental humors, namely Shant, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Now we have to also understand this in proper perspective, that this is where it is in the spiritual world. There are secondary rasas also. They manifest in the material universes. And what are these secondary rasas? Amazement, ashcharya, humor, chivalry, compassion, fury, fear, and dread. So these are also something that give pleasure to Lord Krishna. And Lord has to, come to this material universe to enjoy the secondary rasas. Because in the spiritual world, there is no one, who would fight with Lord. Everyone is serving the Lord. They are aligned with Lord's desire. So that's why we talk about these 5 primary rasas. And is it okay? I'm just going to be picking up some very specific points here, because there are 6 major points. So we have already discussed these 5 kinds of humor in relationship with the personality of Godhead. When Srila Prabhupada is using the word humor, I was surprised, and I went and saw that when it's used with an object, it says to comply with the mood or desire of, in order to soothe or make more content or agreeable. So sometimes children, they can sense that you are just humoring them instead of taking them seriously. So from that perspective, when I look at it, Srila Prabhupada is revealing that this dealing of Lord Krishna holding Lord Brahma hand to hand. So he is holding hands, and that is in humor, as if they are equal. And there is a very interesting aspect in the Vedic civilization that we hear. When we see someone from a distance and out of respect, we actually join our both palms and say namaste, right? That's our greeting. When the person comes close, then we hold both the hands in hands, and we hold them like this is friendship, it shows. And even more closeness comes when we embrace them. So there are these 3 distinct ways as we treat. And it was revealed to me by one of my friends in America as what was the origin of handshake. We all do the handshake, right? Right hand to right hand, and we shake hands. And he said, I think, of course, he has learned it across generations as it has been passed on, that the activity of handshake was to use your second hand to check if the person is hiding any arm under the hand. So it was only one hand, and then this left hand would be used to check, am I okay shaking hand with you? No, that's a very different feeling. That's not a trusting feeling. That's not based on love. That's based on, hey, we're going to make some trade here, and I understand that you are my competitor on the other side, and we're in competition. That's the nature of this material world. While we see the nature of spiritual world, and the Vedic civilization reveals this to us and to Puranas, like here, the Lord Brahma is saying that you are holding my hand as if we are friends. So you are humoring me in a friendship. And he's revealing this. And it is clearly exhibited herein that Lord Brahma is related to the personality of God in the transcendental humor of friendship. A pure devotee may be related with the Lord in any of the transcendental humors, even in the humor of parenthood, Vatsalya. But the devotee of the Lord is always a transcendental servitor. No one is equal to or greater than Lord. That is the version of Bhagavad Gita. Brahmaji, although eternally related with the Lord in the transcendental humor of friendship, and although entrusted with the most exalted post of creating different grades of living entities, is still conscious of his position, that he is neither the Supreme Lord nor supremely powerful. It is possible that some extremely powerful personality within or without the universe may sometimes show more power than the Lord himself. Still, the pure devotee knows that this power is a vibhuti delegated by the Lord, and such a delegated, powerful living entity is never independent. Sri Hanumanji crossed the Indian Ocean by jumping over the sea, and Lord Sri Ramchandra engaged himself in marching over the bridge. But this does not mean that Ramchandra engaged himself, does not mean that Hanumanji was more powerful than the Lord. Sometimes the Lord gives extraordinary powers to his devotee, but the devotee knows always that the power belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that the devotee is only an instrument. Nimitra matram bhavisavi sachin, as Lord Krishna reveals. The pure devotee is never puffed up like the non-devotee class of men who falsely think that they are God. It is astonishing to see how a person who is being kicked by the laws of the Lord's illusory energy at every step can falsely think of becoming one with the Lord. Such thinking is the last snare of the illusory energy offered to the conditioned soul. The first illusion is that he wants to become Lord of the material world by accumulating wealth and power. But when he is frustrated in that attempt, he wants to be one with the Lord. So both becoming the most powerful man in the material world and desiring to become one with the Lord are different illusory snares. And because the pure devotee of the Lord are surrendered souls, they are above the illusory snares of Maya. Because Lord Brahma is a pure devotee, even though the first dominating deity in the material world and therefore able to do many wonderful things, he would never, like the non-devotee with poor fund of knowledge, have the audacity to think of becoming one with the Lord. People with poor fund of knowledge should take lessons from Brahma when they are puffed up with the false notion of becoming God. Factually, Lord Brahma does not create the living entities. In the beginning of the creation, he is empowered to give different bodily shapes to the living entities according to their work during the last millennium. Brahmaji's duty is just to wake the living entities from their slumber and to engage them in their proper duty. The different grades of living entities are not created by Brahmaji by his capricious whims, but he is entrusted with the task of giving the living entities different grades of body so that they can work accordingly. And still he is conscious that he is only instrumental so that he may not think of himself as the supreme powerful Lord. Devotees of the Lord are engaged in the specific duty offered by the Lord, and such duties are successfully carried out without hindrance because they are ordained by the Lord. The credit of success goes not to the doer but to the Lord. But persons with a poor fund of knowledge take the credit of success into their own accounts and give nothing to the credit of the Lord. That is the symptoms of the non-devotee class of men. Hare Krishna. Such a beautiful purport. And, Srila Prabhupada is revealing some amazing facts through these purports to us. So first, he used the word humor because Lord is, he's showing that he's in a friendship relationship. His friend to Lord Brahma in his spiritual position, Lord Brahma's spiritual position. Yet he is encouraging Lord Brahma as well. Now let's look at the past as what has happened for Lord Brahma to be here. And what is going to happen is, of course, as part of the journey, we are understanding Lord gives instructions to Lord Brahma. And we see that the 29 to 33rd verse, so again, there are Chatu Shloki Bhagavatam also that comes after this verse. But this aspect of humor is very important. And that Lord is treating him while actually Lord is passing on his vibhuti, his empowering Lord Brahma to create. And what has happened in the past? So this is revealed earlier in this chapter, as well as there is further revelation that's not done in Srimad Bhagavatam, but has been revealed in Padma Puran as well as Brahma Samhita. So those of you who are interested in going back and trying to understand what is it that Lord Brahma did before this handshake happened, the hands, like both the hands, hand to hand, Lord is holding him as a friend. So before this happens, what is it? So Lord Brahma, he wakes up. And when he wakes up, what does he see? That he is sitting on a lotus flower, and at the word of the lotus flower, and he's looking around, what is my origin? And he's looking down into the waters, and he's saying that, there's just heavy waves going on of the ocean water. And he tries to go through the stem to find out where's the beginning. Where have I come from? What's the cause of me appearing here? And he's trying to find, but he's not able to find. So he comes back to his position. And this is where he hears two letters, ta, pa, tapa. And by divine mercy, by Lord Krishna's mercy, he understands what that means. It means to perform austerity, and he sits down in meditation. And through the heart, Lord then reveals the Vedas to Lord Brahma. So this is where we hear in Brahma Samhita, the initiation happens of Lord Brahma. Through the flute of Lord Krishna comes the Vedas and enters into the 8 ears of Brahma. Yes, so that refers to the current day, because there was a time when Brahma only had 2 ears, just like every one of us. And with the appearance of Saraswati, suddenly that transformed into 8 faces, and he became 4 faces, and 8 ears appeared, 2 on each face. So here, this revelation that Lord Brahma is getting initiated, and Lord wants to show him some example as how to carry out your duty. And Lord immediately transfers him by his, mystical power into the Vaikuntha planets, where he is seeing all these living entities on Vaikuntha planets worshipping the Lordship. Everyone is in a very youthful state. Everyone is full of opulence. And they are not just having salokya, like various kind of we say siddhis that are achieved by different liberations, that type of liberation. So he's saying that Sashti, which is same opulence as the Lordship. So many of them have same form as the Lordships. Many airplanes are in the sky. And he is just amazed looking at this beauty. So in the beginning of this chapter, we hear how Srila Prabhupada reveals that. And in Brahma Samhita also. Chintamani prakar sadma shakalpa vriksha. That's where it's described in Brahma Samhita as how beautiful this Vaikuntha planet is, where even the stones which are paving the roads are Chintamani. They are made, they can fulfill their desires. And we also hear how all the trees are Kalpa Vriksha, desire fulfilling trees. And Samasta Shat Sambramya Sevaman, Lakshmi Samasta. So hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis are engaging in serving the Lordship with attention, with devotion, with gratitude, fully focused in pleasing the Lordship. And what is Lord Krishna doing in Golok Vrindavan? He's serving the cows, right? So when we see this amazing description given in Brahma Samhita, and Lord Brahma revealing similar descriptions about Vaikuntha planets, it makes us realize that there is just so much opulence, but Lord, he is more interested not in showing his opulence, he's more interested in developing those loving relationships. And that is the core substance of our society, loving relationships. Srila Prabhupada reveals in his writings that he formed this society, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He didn't say International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Sometimes people by mistake say that. That would mean that only we are Krishna conscious, no one else is, right? Of is like limiting just to us. But no, he's saying we are in Parampara, we are in disciplic succession, in Chaitanya Chaitamrita. He's even giving the reference that ISKCON is one of the branches with so many multiple twigs arising and so forth. on this desire tree of devotion, whose trunk is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The gardener is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he is enlivening us, he's providing us all that inspiration so that we take from his example and the devotees, his associates' example, how to develop those loving exchanges. And that has been revealed in this verse as well. Dadati prati gahanati guhyam akhyati prichati bhunjate bhujate chaiva sadvidam priti lakshanam. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami, he is revealing this, how to develop the 6 loving exchanges that can enrich our relationships. And we all devotees take it to our heart that yes, we have to, focus on this. Materialists sometimes say, oh no, we don't want to do gift exchange because they are more worried about, I have to give something away to others. But in devotees community, we see dadati prati gahanati, giving of gifts and accepting gifts, not taking gifts, but accepting gifts. So our relationship is more based on giving attitude than taking attitude, which is the mood of the material world. And guhyam akhyati prichati. And guhyam akhyati means discussing secret matters. Transcendental matters are the most secret. And prichati, inquiring about them. So devotees, we like to engage in Ishta Goshti. So sometimes we also talk of, well, we are engaging in Ishta Goshti, everyone outside seems to be engaging in Mushta Goshti. But so this is another way those exchanges are made. We are not looking at comparison, we are looking at glorifying. Tranadapi sunichena tarorapi saishuna amanina manadina kirtaniya sadahari. So our attitude on Ishta Goshti is, be more humble than the grass on the street. Be more tolerant than the tree. And in that mood, with that attitude of gratitude, we can constantly glorify the Lordship. Kirtaniya Sadahari. We can constantly glorify his name, form, activities, pastimes. Unlimitedly means, again, Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. Lord is unlimited and his pastimes are unlimited. So here, Lord Brahma is revealing those facts to us as how Lord is so merciful. And he is holding Lord Brahma by his arms. Now, many times we see that Lord could have created anything, there is no limit. Yet at the same time, Lord sometimes likes to glorify his devotees. Like Hanumanji. He could just jump across to go to Sri Lanka. Yes, we know about that. Yet at the same time, Lord Ramchandra walked on the bridge. The bridge had to be constructed. So sometimes people could say, hey, it seems like Hanuman is more powerful than Lord. And Srila Prabhupada very nicely reveals that no, actually, the power that Hanumanji is getting, the siddhis that Hanumanji has, those 8 siddhis, that is because of the mercy of the Lord. And also, there is a leadership of Jamban who reveals to Hanuman that he has those siddhis. Until it was revealed, even Hanuman did not know that he had the capability of jumping across the ocean. Just like in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, of battle at Kurukshetra, Arjun did not know that he is going to be the winner. Lord declares the result to him as part of his instructions. Like, except for you, Pandavas, and few others, all the warriors on this battlefield are going to be slain. He's revealing that result to his devotees. But he says, Nimitra Bhata Bhavisachan, don't think that you are the doer, you are just an instrument in my purpose. And Arjun is inquiring about what is the purpose that you have come. He's feeling afraid looking at the universal form of the Lord. While here we see that Lord, his most beautiful form is his 2-arm form of Shyam Sundar, right? So Lord Krishna wants to glorify his devotees, and the devotees always like to glorify the Lordship. So these are part of loving exchanges. Bhunjate bhojate chava. So again, we like to offer prasadam and accept prasadam. So those are another pair, the last, 5th and 6th items of loving exchanges. And prasad also refers to mercy. Normally, when we talk about prasad, we always think of food, yes, to nourish the body. But what nourishes the soul is Harikatha. So we actually get the mercy of the Lordship through Harikatha when we talk about his name, form, activities, pastimes. And this is all some substance of our existence, to glorify the Lord, to engage in his service, and to constantly depend on the Lord. Now, there are so many examples, and I would like to ask devotees to share in chat some of the examples we have seen that Lord, he may be appearing, as inferior, but really he is looking to glorify his devotees. What are some of the examples that you are aware of?
Hare Krishna. What comes to mind at the moment is when Mother Ganges wanted to come down on earth, she was saying that her force is too much that the earth might not be able to contain her. So she needed somebody to kind of support her before she lands. And Lord Shiva was empowered to take that responsibility. So I've met a couple of Lord Shiva devotees
Yes.
who, based on that pastime, say that even Lord Vishnu couldn't do it. Lord Shiva had to do it. So Lord Shiva is more powerful than Lord Vishnu.
Great point, Sadhya Prabhu. So we have to also look at some history of how does that potency in Ganges come, means that she is like so powerful that if she was not supported, says that she will just pass through the earth, right? She'll not be able, the force cannot be stopped. And that force came because she got the Charan Rush. She got the dust of the lotus feet of Lord Vamandev, who appeared in his Trivikrama form when he penetrates the universe with the third step. Then that water that washed his feet was collected by Lord Brahma. That is Ganges. So the potency in Ganges of purifying, having such a strong force, such a strong current, comes from Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. And so let's look at it from that perspective, that Lord Shiva is carrying that. So something has washed the feet of Lord Vishnu. Do you think that Lord Shiva just took it on her shoulder or in her palm? Where did he take her? He took her on his head. Right? In his hair, he uses his matlocks to bind her, right? To contain her. Now, this is another example where we are seeing that something that has washed the lotus feet of the Lord Shiva has been taken by Lord Shiva on his head. That's why his Vaishnava Nam Yatha Shambhu, he is the topmost Vaishnava. Yes, I do see. Besaki Mataji, you have your hand.
Exactly. Yes, please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Hare Krishna devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhuji, the example of Lord glorifying Arjun during Kurukshetra war, and in Treta Yuga also we can see Lord Ram took the help of Hanuman during the war with Ravan and other things also. So these are some of the examples where Lord glorified his pure devotees. Hare Krishna.
Let's not forget when Lord started his journey to the forest, Ketab was the boatman. He took help from Ketab to cross the ocean, cross the river, Saryu River. And at the other end, when Lord Ram asked, "What should I pay you?" What does Ketab says? That people in the same business don't ask for fees. He's revealing that, my dear Lord, I only made you cross this river, but you make all living entities cross over this material ocean. So it appears that Lord Ram cannot swim across. He has to take help from a boatman. But in reality, that potency in the boatman is coming because of Lord's mercy. Yes, I do see Shiman Varha.
Shiman Vara, yeah. Please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
I had some little distractions, so I don't know whether the example I have in mind has been given. But the classical example of the Lord taking an inferior position is becoming the chariot driver of Arjun. I don't know whether it has been mentioned.
No, it's not been mentioned yet.
Has not
Yeah,
been
but
mentioned.
Very
that
well.
is the
Yes.
most classical example of the Lord taking an inferior position. Hare Krishna.
Now, many people don't understand what's the duty of a charioteer. So let me give you some insight into that as well. Thank you for identifying that as one of the instances. A
Yeah.
charioteer sits in the front, and because there is just so much noise on the battlefield, there is no way a warrior can tell the charioteer to go left or to the right, or go to the right, or to go fast or go too slow. So what has to happen is that the warrior has to indicate that lift the left foot if he's a right-hander, or right foot if he's a left-hander, and place it on the back, and sometimes even kick the charioteer to indicate which direction to go. So if the warrior hits the left side of the charioteer takes it to the left side. And if the kick is hard, then he takes it fast. If the kick is slow, then he takes it, carefully. So there is a very important language, a body language that's being done, because the charioteer cannot be seeing back while he's driving. But Lord Krishna can see anywhere. But here, this example is given that a charioteer's job is not just here, that he's getting kicked from sunrise to sunset. Think of something. You sit and somebody keeps kicking you. What will you feel after 20 minutes? Somebody kicks you 20, 30 times. You will feel agitated. But then let's look at the life of charioteer. What does a charioteer do? In the beginning of the day, charioteer is getting ready the whole chariot. He's assembling the whole chariot. And then he is coming back, giving back to the warrior, and getting ready the warrior with all his weapons and everything loaded onto the chariot. And when you climb the chariot, there's only one step which is quite high. So the warrior cannot just take that step. So the charioteer has to present his hand, his palm, to be that first step on which the warrior would first step. And then the second step would be on the step or going to the chariot. Why is that the case? Because you don't want people who are attacking the chariot or the warrior can quickly climb over. They need to have someone support them to come over. That's also another reason. So he has to put his hand every time, those 18 days of war. And prior to that, Krishna was also charioteer for Arjuna when the forest was consumed by Agni. Now here in this particular case, it's not here. After the warrior has taken his position, the charioteer gets onto the chariot, does his service for the whole day as the warrior wants, and at the end, gets down the chariot, gets the warrior down, takes the warrior in the camp, and makes sure he's provided all the medication for all the wounds. So the charioteer may be wounded as well, but that's secondary. First is to take care of the warrior. Then making sure the warrior has eaten and is resting, then he has to unassemble the chariot, take care of the horses, give them the bath, put them in the stable, and after taking care of himself, comes back, and in the tent, while the warrior is sleeping on a bed, nice bed, the charioteer is sleeping on the ground, blocking the entrance to the tent, to the camp. So that if anybody comes first, they have to fight with the charioteer before they can approach the warrior. Now, when we realize from that perspective, then we understand in Chaitamrita, this Brahman who was reciting Bhagavad Gita, looking at the picture of Lord Krishna being the charioteer of Arjuna, why was he weeping? Because Lord, he takes such a menial position just to glorify his devotee, Arjuna, that he is the great warrior and he is the one who's enabling Pandavas win over the Kauravas. So that's also a beautiful instance where we see. And there are a couple of other instances that come to mind. Lord, we hear about peace formula in Bhagavad Gita, right? 5.29. Bhoktaram Yagatapsam Sarvalok Maheshwaram. He is the supreme proprietor, Sarvalok Maheshwaram. Of material as well as spiritual universes, he is the supreme proprietor. But he is taking the form of a beggar as a Vaman, Dev, the younger brother of Indra, and is going as a Brahman begging for 3 pieces of land from Maharaj Bali. Now, Bali Maharaj, he is ready to give because he is just completely absorbed the beauty of this Brahman boy. And when he is doing this, what is his spiritual master saying? What does Shukracharya says? Don't give. This is Vishnu. He is going to take away everything from you. Bali Maharaj says, I don't care. Everything belongs to him anyway. He has come in this form, that is my glories. Now everyone's thinking, all the demigods and the rishis and the saintly person, they are even thinking, oh, this is the time Bali Maharaj will have to face some hardship because he has promised 3 pieces of land. He won't be able to do that because his spiritual master Shukracharya himself said. Now in Bhagavatam, sometimes, because Bhagavatam is a summary study of Vedantas, right? So things have been shortened just to pass on the message. In reality, when we go to Padma Purana and other Puranas, we see that actually Bali Maharaj, when he gives this boon, Shukracharya loses one eye because he actually uses one eye to block the kamandalu, through which the water pot, through which the water would flow. And Vaman immediately takes a straw and pierces it. Then Bali Maharaj takes that water and takes the vow that I give you 3 pieces of land. And Lord, in the first step, crosses over the earth. Second step crosses over the universe and pierces the edge of the universe where Ganges is born, right? The water washes his feet. Then he says, where do I put the third step? Now he is the owner, so he's sitting on Bali Maharaj's throne. And he's like, Bali Maharaj, it seems like you have not been able to fulfill your boon. And so Garud, on the incitation, on indication from Vaman Dev, immediately ties him with ropes of Varuna. And Bali Maharaj is thrown into Karagra, means into a dungeon, into a prison. What is Bali Maharaj thinking? Is he thinking that I have been cheated? No. Bali Maharaj's thought is very important. He's thinking that Indra is not very intelligent. He sent his younger brother as Lord Vishnu, as his younger brother, to take everything from me. He's not very intelligent. And even worse than him is Bahaspati. His spiritual master is also not very intelligent. And while he's in this mood that he's not been able to, Lord gives him that insight how to fulfill his vow. To glorify Bali Maharaj, Lord gives him this insight, and Bali Maharaj is brought back after some days in front of Vaman, and he says, my dear Lord, the body still belongs to me. Please place your third step on my head. And this is where the glories come for Bali Maharaj. Lord is glorifying him by saying, so magnanimous is Bali Maharaj, and gives him Sutala planet, which is more opulent than the heavenly planets Indra has. So much so that afterwards in Padma Purana, the description comes that Indra asked Arjun to go to the lower Patal planets, which are also known as Bila Swarga. So they are also heavenly planets, but in a Bila Swarga category, to destroy the opulence of the demoniac population there. He's always uncomfortable looking at someone else being more opulent than him. That is material world. So here we are seeing so many wonderful pastimes where Lord is appearing as a Vaman Dev. Lord, he is eating the already eaten bear. What do we call them? The berries from Shabri. And Lakshman is like, what? She already tasted it and then she is feeding you? But Lord is seeing the love in it. He's saying, no, she's making sure that it is sweet for me to taste sweetness. She's making sure that the quality is preserved. Now, we should not do that. We should not try to imitate. There are 2 important aspects. Anukaran versus Anusharan. So devotees, they don't imitate the Lordship. They follow the instructions. They are based on mood as how to serve the Lordship. So we take shelter of the previous acharyas. Their instructions act as our lighting torches, the lantern that lights up our path back home, back to Godhead. So these are some of the amazing aspects that are revealed by Lord Brahma. And then what is he saying? That let me not become proud. Because he knows This material energy is Lord's energy. So on our strength, we cannot overcome this material energy. Very important lesson. So we have to take shelter of the Lordship to overcome the effect of this material world. In Bhagavad Gita, what is Lord saying? Devi he isha gudamai mama maya duratyaya. Mame vye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So this material energy of mind, which is gurmaya, the three modes of material nature, mode of goodness, sattva-guna, mode of passion, rajaguna, mode of ignorance, tamaguna. She has these three modes, and she's using these three modes to condition the living entities. Very difficult to overcome. It's like a bhav-sagar. But mame vye prapadyante. But those who surrender unto me, maya mitam tarantite, they can easily cross over this material ocean. So we have to take shelter. But when we talk about taking shelter, how do you take shelter? Sometimes people say, okay, should I just bow down and that's taking shelter? That's also been explained by Rupa Goswami elaborately, based on the instructions from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we refer to this as Sharanagati. So there are 6 limbs of Sharanagati. Anukulya sa sankalpa pratikulya sa vajanam rakshishyati ti vishwaso kopatitve varnam tatha atmanikshep karpanye shadvidha Sharanagati. Anukulya sa sankalpa. So whatever is favorable for our devotional service, we should perform those activities. Whatever is unfavorable, pratikul, unfavorable for our devotional service, we should reject those. And rakshishyati ti vishwaso. And have firm determination, firm faith that Lord will give us protection. Raksha. Rakshishyati ti vishwaso. Kopatitve varnam tatha. And Lord will maintain us. So sometimes people have this tendency, well, Lord will maintain us. That means I don't have anything to do. That's not the instruction. We all have been given various abilities. So God helps those who help themselves. So we have been given these abilities to be able to serve the Lordship. Even the body is an instrument provided by the Lord, and our body should be dovetailed, should be used in pleasure of the Lord, in performing various activities. The strength, the ability to see, the ability to hear, the ability to walk, the ability to talk, all this comes by Lord's mercy. So we have received this as a gift so that we can please the Lordship with our words, with our actions, with our thoughts, mind, body, and actions. Again, mind, body, and words. These 3 aspects should be used to please the Lordship. Then Lord, of course, maintains us. Constantly understand we are not the maintainer. Lord would maintain us. And Atmanishya Karpane, being a humble state of mind, because all capabilities that we seem to have are just temporary. We don't know what our next destination is. So we should become more humble so that we know what our true state is. We are Jivera Surupaya Krishna Nityadas. We are eternal servant of Krishna. So our purpose, our very existence is only to please Lord Krishna. And finally, Atmadik Shape. Atmadik Shape means surrendering everything like Bali Maharaj did. So Lord was setting example of Bali Maharaj to glorify Bali Maharaj, that how tolerant Bali Maharaj is. Even though he became the emperor of the universe, it was all taken away. But he was still surrendered and said, your 3rd step, please place it on my head. Lord would not just place his step on anyone's head. To get the dust from the lotus feet of the Lordship is not a small thing. It's a great boon in a way, Bali Maharaj is asking. And Vamandev is smiling. This is amazing. You are trying to fulfill your vow while actually receiving a great boon. He wants to glorify Bali Maharaj. So such are the dealings of Lord Krishna. And Lord Brahma is revealing in his prayer that you are acting as if you're my equal, but I know Lordship, I have to take shelter of you. So he's taking shelter of the Lordship with that mood. And when he takes shelter, what do we do? So in Parampara, there is a process that when we submit ourselves, we seek directions. So Lord Brahma is also saying that I'm going to do this amazing task to please you. And even though such a big task has been entrusted on me and you have given me the capability, let not pride drive me away. Let me not fall down, because lust, anger, and greed, these three are the gates to hell. I don't want to go there, because they all start, the road to these three gates is paved by this pride as a quality. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments at this time?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Sri JIVA TATTVA Prabhu. Very beautiful Krishna Katha. In fact, until today, I did not know so much details about the role of being a charioteer. It takes a lot to be a charioteer. And I said, wow. Okay, I mean, it's very interesting. Shumavara Prabhu mentioned about this charioteer and how you went very deeper into that. Because this aspect of Krishna soothes and reminds me of how sweet Krishna is. Because Krishna has so many mischievous pastimes, and sometimes I feel like this blue boy Krishna, is he going to be nice with me as struggling as I am? But when you hear pastimes like being the charioteer to Arjuna, he says Krishna will do anything to protect his devotees. So thank you for sharing those wonderful, detailed pastimes. Dear devotees, if anyone may have something to ask or comment or share some realizations, please, you may do that. Thank you once again, JIVA TATTVA Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
For some reason, I was watching something on YouTube today, and there was this video of whoever was showing this video listed 10 people all over the world who have faked themselves to be either Christ, Jesus Christ, or God. And as you were speaking, I was thinking, as I was watching, I was thinking to myself, how would people be so, excuse me my language, so crazy to assume themselves to be Jesus Christ, and even higher than that, to consider themselves as God, when they have so much problems going on around them? But as you were speaking, it seems to me that Krishna even takes pleasure when people act like that. Is it true? Is that the case?
Yes. Pandara, the false Vasudev, Krishna was like, wow, he's looking exactly like me. This fake 2 extra arms added to his entourage. And this is the snare of illusory energy. And in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, for people who are ready to be cheated, their cheaters also provided. So it's like blind leading a blind. And there's a very important word that comes from mithyachara, pretender, in Bhagavad Gita. So pretender is making a big show of controlling the senses, doing various mystical activities, producing ashes from thin air. But in reality, their mind is constantly meditating on sense object. How do I attain fame and glories? Wine, women, and wealth. That's what they're looking for. And eat, sleep, and be merry is their mantra to lead life. They're not looking for Krishna consciousness. They're not looking for service attitude. And Srila Prabhupada has been very strong. When we see Srila Prabhupada's writing, there's such people who are trying to pose themselves as God. He uses the word dog for them. Why? Because these people are creating havoc. Lord Krishna says, Yad yad acharati sheshas tatta devetaro jana. As an important person acts, the general populace will follow. And these people are acting in this manner, so all their disciples are thinking, I'll become like someone like this and enjoy my life afterwards. And I was actually seeing one of the YouTube videos as well, where Srila Prabhupada was saying, those who think that they can build temples and then can put the deities in front of everyone so that people make various kind of offerings, and they sustain their life on those offerings, they are the biggest cheaters and most fallen of all men. So it reveals that we have so many temples, and those, devotees engaged in the temple worship, they have to be so conscious, because there's another snare of Maya is, well, why do I have to work? I'm getting all this wealth coming. No, it's not coming to you. It's coming to Krishna. You have to engage it in Krishna's service. And I'm reminded of a wonderful incident which happened in Juhu, where when Srila Prabhupada, he asked for his kuta, it had just gone for wash. And the devotee, Yadubha Prabhu's wife, she was the one who had taken it for washing. So she immediately brought that kuta back. And Srila Prabhupada immediately took it and put his hand in the pocket and took out 1 rupee. And he said, this was donated to Krishna. How could it just get wasted? I have to use it in Krishna's service. And he hands it back to the treasurer. So important is not what amount. Important is our mindset. What is the purpose of everything that we are getting, and how can we engage in pleasing Krishna in his service? That is the purpose. Krishna will maintain us, yes, but we have to do our due diligence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Wow.
And the snare of Maya, you just talked about, like that's what happens to Mayavadi. They take one part from the Vedanta saying that, oh, Aham Brahmasmi, I'm Brahman. So now I'm God. Another snare of Maya. While Lord is Para Brahman, he is beyond Brahman. We have to understand that too. And the modern, sometimes there's so-called expert speakers on Bhagavatam even. They are not following Parampara. They're using the followings of Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya gave his description very well, but those who took that description, they misinterpreted it. And like you were talking about, will Krishna be nice to us? He says in the 529 verse in Bhagavad Gita, the peace formula is Suhridam Sarva Bhutana. I'm the well-wisher and best friend of every living entity, Sarva Bhutana. So anything that happens in our life actually is in our favor. But we, due to our limited short-sightedness, we think this is bad and that is good. In our life, nothing happens that is unfavorable for us. But our perspective is we don't see Krishna's hand in those dealings. Arjun had the same scenario. He was facing his teacher. He was facing his grandsire, Bhishma Pitama. He was facing his relatives. And he became emotional. He became compassionate, and he could not perform his duties as Krishna desired. So Krishna instructed him for us, to benefit us in understanding how we should take to proper understanding of Varnashram Dharma, proper alignment of our prescribed duties with our constitutional position as Lord Krishna's eternal servant. So many beautiful examples we see through the message in Bhagavatam, in Bhagavad Gita, that Lord Krishna is revealing. Yes, you look at knife in someone's hand and you say, oh, this person will harm me. And if you ask, are you going to cut me with this? And the person says, yes, I have to. Then you will have to also ask why. Because it could be a doctor holding a scalpel in his hand, ready to operate on you and to cure you, right? So those aspects have to be looked at it. Why is someone doing what they're doing? And why should I act in a specific manner? Is it with the proper attitude that I'm taking shelter of Lord Krishna and acting as per his desire? Or am I being driven away by a snare of Maya, this material energy? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Krishna. Well, thank you. But Prabhuji, I'm sorry, I have lots of questions, but I know you have quite a limited time on this Sangha platform today. But I watched one clip again on YouTube. There is this guy who used to be a member of one mafia group.
Mm-hmm.
And he shared one particular story. I said, my God. See, you were talking about those who are true devotees of Krishna. They They are ready to do anything and everything for Krishna under all circumstances. And this guy was talking about being a member of the mafia group. He was told that since you have joined this group, henceforth, we are your number one. If your wife is dying and we call you, you have to forget about your wife. You have to answer to our call. If your child is dying, we call you, you have to give up. You're concerned about your child, you have to attend to us. That is what it is. Are you ready? He said, yeah. And that's exactly what he was doing. And I was thinking to myself, if someone can commit himself to his fellow human being in this way, what makes it so difficult for me and probably others to submit ourselves to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing that He is always out there for our best interest? We may know this, but still it's so difficult for us to truly surrender to Him, whereas others are surrendering to their fellow human beings, like this mafia guy.
Yes. And there is a secret. This is the snare of Maya. What that person, when surrendering to mafia, all he is saying is his immediate needs being met. He's in a very tough situation. He wants to get out of the situation at all costs. So he's ready to make all kind of promises. And so he takes onto this, which reminds me of a story that I read in my school. It was part of our curriculum, where a man, his son was so sick that he takes the job of an executioner. The one who lights the chair and people die. No one was ready to take, but to save his child, he did that job. And so he was earning money that way, only to see later on that his son was sitting on the chair as he was asked to execute. So this snare of Maya is very vicious cycle. Looking at immediate needs is where people get bewildered. That's why we take shelter of acharyas for their long-sightedness. Shukracharya, when he is approached by the Lord after Bali Maharaj has satisfied the vow and he's being sent to Sutala planet, he's ready to go there. Lord approaches Shukracharya and is like, Shukracharya, what do you think happened today? And Shukracharya says, my dear Lord, your glories are unlimited. I cannot believe that in reality, I thought that you're coming to steal everything away from Bali Maharaj, but actually you are here to bestow your mercy. And Vamandev becomes the gatekeeper of Bali Maharaj at Sutala planet. So he's the gatekeeper. Can you believe? Lord take the position of gatekeeper. And so again, we have a similar scenario in Chaitanya Chaitamrita. Shivas Thakur's home, there was Kirtan going on. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suddenly had a very strange feeling that there's something wrong. But Shivas was engaged in serving the devotees. And later on, Lord asked, what has happened? There's something that's not right. And Shivas' son had left his body. But Shivas, because of love, not duty, not force, not fear, because of love, he was serving the devotees. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows his mercy on Shivas afterwards. So when we are motivated by love in service to the person, not because of someone else, because of fear of losing our loved ones. No, not that, but directly engagement, directly in service of the Lord. That is the true mood in Krishna consciousness. We don't take to Krishna consciousness because there is a fear. Yes, sometimes people do come. If you don't, act right, you will have to live in hellish conditions. Sometimes we see some religious people use this kind of formulas, but our formulas are completely based on love. Every verse in Bhagavatam is fully endowed with so much richness on bhakti, devotional service. The sweetness, the bliss that we derive. Just by reading, we derive so much bliss. Can you imagine how much more we will derive when we will experience it?
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dear devotees, I would like to share a little bit about our revered speaker, His Grace, Jiva Tattva Prabhu. He is a fortunate disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. It's very interesting. I've been fortunate to come in association of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj in Toronto a couple times, and he's such a very sweet Maharaj. I remember the first time he saw me, he just looked. I wish it could be like that all the time. The first time he saw me, he looked at me closely, says, "You are a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj." I said, "Yes, ma'am." He is a very powerful creature. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Swami Maharaj. Prabhuji also has bachelor's from India in electronic and telecommunication and master's in computer science from Johns Hopkins University. By profession, he works for a leading global company, coaching and training in leadership development. His precious wife, I believe, is in the Sangha. His wife is Ananda Rupa Devi, who is also a Bhakti Shastri instructor. I've been trying to get hold of her feet to be dragged here, and we hope to have her here speak to us someday. The wife actually is also, like I said, Bhakti Shastri teacher and Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita classes. She actually does these classes globally. So Prabhuji, together with the wife, are also involved with Karuna Care. Some of you may not be aware. Karuna Care, of course, Karuna means compassion, is a particular few group of devotees who've come together to help devotees in times of need, especially in their final days. So Prabhuji, I met him on one particular forum, and that is how we bonded. I found him to be a very sincere, humble devotee. And on top of that, he is also very knowledgeable, and he tries to live the scriptures as much as he possibly can. So we are advised to hear Bhagavatam or the Krishna Katha from devotees who know and at the same time live it. And so we're fortunate today we have somebody in the person of Jiva Tattva Prabhu, as we can hear, especially like the way you highlighted the role of being a charioteer is very fascinating, and I had never thought of it that way. So we thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your love with us, and we hope to have your association in the very near future. And if any devotee has something to say, please you may say that before Prabhuji leaves. And Prabhuji, since you are the speaker, if you have a final concluding statement to make, please you may do that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna means again, everything should be offered to Guru and Gauranga. So again, Om Tat Sat. That's the instruction we get. Then may Lord be pleased with us and may bless us with his causeless mercy and keep us in his lotus feet. That's where the sweet bliss and true Ananda resides. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So with those kind words, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our heartfelt, warmest appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace Jiva Tattva Prabhu. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Yascha Kripa Sindhubhya
Jana Pavanabhyo Vaishnavibhyo
Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha.
Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Praise Jivatata Prabhu ki jai. Hari Hari Bol.
Nantu Kori Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
All glories to Sabha devotees.
Hare
Hare